this month's featured artist on Mettalworx.com, and it's actually two bands I'm interviewing at the same time, Severed Rain and 2 Minutes to Maiden. How you guys doing?
Doing well.
Doing great.
Right on. Now, you guys actually started off as 2 Minutes to Maiden, right?
Yes.
That's correct.
How did that come about? Like, what made you kind of start to actually put together a real tribute band?
I'll put that off to Jason. He can best answer that.
All right.
Throw him under the bus.
Let's see. I think it was 11 years ago or so. I was in a Iron Maiden tribute band called Ready for Eddie. The member from Novichok, Jeff McDonald. That we ended up splitting up, but I wasn't finished yet. I still wanted to do the Maiden thing, and by chance I happened upon Derek, and then we found this crew here, and it's just I've always wanted to play Maiden. I'm a huge Maiden fan. It was the second show I ever saw was the Seventh Son of Seventh Son show, and I also was influenced from my other brother Alice. I saw them and I thought, no, that's representing an Alice Cooper tribute. I want Maiden to be represented like that. So, and we try our best.
Right on. Okay. My next question was why Iron Maiden, but he already answered that. Because, I mean, there's thousands of bands, why do you pick a certain band? But, if you're especially passionate about one and you really want to do it, then that kind of answers that.
We picked Maiden because it's easy to play. Yeah.
Right on. Yeah.
We figured we get along all right. Noodle.
Okay, cool. How has the reception been for 2 Minutes to Maiden? Like when, what is some of the feedback you're kind of getting on your representation of the music?
I think it's a good mix. I mean, we get a lot of people saying that there's very few bands out there that could present it the way we do. And then, you get the real tough nuts that are diehard Maiden fans, and they will pick it apart as usual. I mean, the drummer's using two pedals or, silly things like that. But, I mean, again, we just go out. We're there doing it for fun, obviously, trying to just present as best we can.
Yeah.
Right?
Because, I mean, I think the word tribute is best because it's not supposed to be an exact replica. It is a tribute. It's you guys.
To a band that we love, and that's just all it is, right? Yeah. Bunch of guys going out, hashing it out, having fun, and hopefully people who are there have fun with us, and because that's what it's all about. We want to share the love of Iron Maiden with others and have fun.
Okay. Now I've seen some of the songs, like you guys actually one time I seen listed a whole list of all the songs that you guys have, played and stuff like that. And you don't just stick to there's some songs on there that I know Iron Maiden have never played live, that you guys have done. I know that for sure. I know all the bootlegs and that.
There's actually a song that we played before Iron Maiden ever played it live, ever, anywhere. Right. And it was the reincarnation of Benjamin Brieg.
Okay.
And it was, we were in Quebec, and we took all our band gear, and we were playing on the way up to see them. And we decided to set up all our gear out in the parking lot during the trail, the party outside in the parking lot there. There's the tailgate party, that's the word that I was looking for. And we decided to set it all up, had our generator out there, and we just rocked it out for all the fans there. And afterwards, the band was like, hey, you guys should come to the bar afterwards and meet the guys. And we were like, what? Seriously? So we did, and we met them, and
nice.
Had some fun. So, yeah.
Right on. A lot of people might be thinking, what are these idiots doing? But, I mean, that actually proved you guys had the last laugh on that one for sure,
Crowd control.
Yeah. What have been some of the favorite Maiden songs to play?
Wow.
That might be a loaded question and a long answer.
First for all of us.
Yeah, sure. I mean,
Everybody has
I think so. I think
Every single one of them.
Okay, ready? Everybody know my favorite song on three. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Power Slave.
They know mine. I don't know theirs, but they all know mine.
why is that one? Because it's a little bit slower. You got that dun 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 dun.
I gotta get that in there. It's my favorite song. I love it. It's got a little bit of everything in there, and he's using a little flair in there for the drummer during the song. Just like his favorite song is Hallowed, because there's a little part in there, a little bass solo kind of thing. So that's the only song that really has a little drum flair in it. So I tend to do that on that part. But
now, actually, one thing. You guys have probably done Where Eagles Dare.
Absolutely.
Did you ever have any trouble getting that? Because I know Nico really tried. He had to work at that because everybody was like, use a double bass pedal. He's like, I'm not gonna fucking use a double bass pedal, and he kept working on that. But
I used to.
Yeah.
I can't do one. I'm not Nico McBrain.
No, I think there's so many songs is the problem, and we do so many that to pick out one in particular, I can't.
It depends on the crowd reaction. Whatever gets the crowd going the most is what I like to play. Like Fear of the Dark really kicks it.
Yeah.
Trooper,
Yeah.
like the big classic.
The
ones.
classic epics. Yeah. I'd like to say I have a running favorite, depending on feedback from every show. Overall, favorite to do is probably Hallowed Be Thy Name, but like Pete said, if we get fan response and there's a lot of energy going at a live show for one particular song, then that's probably the one that's driving me that night.
right on. And now you guys are actually officially celebrating your 10th anniversary for this year. I can't remember if there's a specific event coming up for that, or if you just kind of, or maybe planning on doing something.
Yeah, I think we're in the works of setting something up here in Halifax for the birth date, hopefully. But other than that, we are reliving our first real big to-do was on Power Slave. We did the whole scene set and all that and created props for it. So this year we're going to re-event that tour, and we're going to do the whole thing over again with a bunch of new stuff involved, and it's all new props, and so it's going to be
Yeah. Also,
30th anniversary of Power Slave, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just going to say coincides. Our 10th anniversary is also the 30th anniversw, so it's a pretty special occasion.
Right on. Okay, now let's switch gears over to Severed Rain. How did the transition come in from being the tribute band to being an original band? Did you guys just start writing songs and start incorporating that, or how did that come about?
I think we were sort of playing around just a bit with some original stuff pretty early on, and we just kind of dabbled with it for a bit, and we decided at one point that it was time to actually try something of our own and put out a product. And it hasn't stopped. We're actually working towards a new product again for up and coming. So
Now you guys played your first gig in 2006. That was the Severed Rain, or was I reading the? I was really trying to, because it said something about the first gig was in 2006, but that might have been the 2 Minutes to Maiden or something.
I can't
Severed
remember.
Rain. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
We've been doing Maiden since 2004. Jason knows the history better than I do, but 06 sounds about right for Severed. Yeah.
Yeah, right on. When you finally started playing the original stuff live, were you a little more nervous about going out there? Because, I mean, like, with the Maiden stuff, people at least know the stuff. This time you're going out there really kind of as yourselves more for the first time. Was that kind of a little bit of a scary thing, or did, doing the Maiden thing, kind of give you some confidence towards that?
I don't think we really had a lack of confidence in it. I think just coming out with something that was new, something that nobody had heard before, it's daunting at times because you don't know how the crowd's going to react to it. You don't know whether you're going to get booed off the stage or people are going to enjoy what you're doing. So you sort of have to, you feel it out. And I mean, for the most part, the stuff that we've played, we've always had a fair reaction to. Everybody seems to enjoy it. So.
And the original stuff was well received, pretty good. You like,
Yeah.
because
I mean, we a couple of years back, we did the Battle of the Bands with Death Valley Driver, Heroes Last Rite, Diablo Strange, Chaos Theory, a bunch of bands that are well known and are well received everywhere. And we tied Chaos Theory for the Nova Scotia battle. So we thought that, hey, we're hashing it out, and we were doing Maiden, and we were preparing for Maiden shows and gigs, and all this stuff was going on, and we do Severed Rain here and there, off and on, when we have the free time to do our own original stuff. But when it was like 2 weeks in the making type of thing, hey, let's get this in because there's a show in 2 weeks, and we want to get in there, and we applied for it on the deadline, and 2 weeks later we just flipped switches again. And did Severed Rain for 2 weeks just 4 practices, and we came in first place in the Nova Scotia battle, and then Death Valley Driver took it on to headline for Metallica, which was awesome, right? And so I mean, and it was well received then. So at that point, I think for us, it was sort of our confirmation to say, you know what, guys, I think we have something here. We think it is pretty decent. Obviously, it's showing, so we should continue on doing that, right? And we've been trying to get out there again with the second album and finish it, but it's 10th year anniversary, Power Slave tour. It always kind of gets in the way a little bit, but I wouldn't say in the way. It's just something that it's a passion that we all have. We love doing the original. We love doing Maiden. So it's like
you're always weighing what the priority is going to be at the time.
Always bittersweet, but it's always worth it.
Yeah. Right. I probably wish that you could do it full time and then not have the jobs, and then you could have plenty of time to rehearse everything, and
then we could clone ourselves and not have to worry about a damn thing.
yeah, do a double tour. Take yourselves out on the road. And you guys actually answered. Bands do this all the time to me. They're like, my next question was about the Metallica thing. So, yeah, exactly. Hey, no problem. You're not the first band that's done that. Now, you guys did refer to the CD you have out, and you're working on a new one. Where are you recording that, or are you kind of doing that yourselves, or just packing away at it at a recording studio?
I don't think we've really made a decision who's going to end up doing the final recordings. A lot of the stuff we're going to do here to basically put a package together.
Pre-production type thing. Yeah.
And then I'm not sure if we'll go to probably Denmark Studios this time maybe. So
we're still working on a few tunes too. Like we've trialed out some Severed Range stuff at some shows, and we're like, we're not sure if that one's going to make the album. You got to feel it out, right? Yeah. But I think now we've got pretty much the final product minus maybe 1, maybe 2 more that we got to finish the album off. But I think the material's ready, it's set, and we just got to lay it down on the track, and then we'll be doing this again.
Now, one thing, and I mean, it was evident a couple times I've seen you guys played live. Lyrically, you seem to be kind of following kind of the Maiden influence a little bit, or at least a couple songs, because I noticed you like Whitewash was one where you were kind of talking like more of a historical point. Like, are a lot of the lyrics kind of following that, where you're doing historical, or was that like just a special thing? Or?
I think a lot of our stuff is history based. We have a lot of stories that we tell, personal experience. So I mean, I don't think we've really focused on one particular avenue, but I would have to say if it was, there is quite a bit of history involved.
Cool. Last few questions. Any embarrassing moments on stage? Everybody, there's always a giggle.
Where do I start? And it's always with the drummer. That guy sucks.
Fall off the kid or something like that?
I try my best.
To fall off or not to?
Well, I mean, I remember one time we were playing a show in Moncton, and it was another sort of similar experience that I'll share with you right now. Recently, the people who were there know it, but the Moncton one was just so amazingly awesome. It was great. So we're in Moncton. We're getting ready to play Revelations, and I count the song, and everything's going great. We're rocking it out. The starts, the stops are there. Everything's fine. The guys are at the end of the intro, and what do? I just keep on playing. So everybody else has stopped, and if you know the song, the ba-ba-ba-ba, right? I just decided to do that one more time. And there's no guitars, it's just the drums. So the guys just look at me, and Jason just raises his arms. Goes like this. Well, that just killed that intro, and it was epic too, because he was like, Revelations, and just it was so epic. Everybody was like, yeah, and then I just kind of just let the air out of the bag, right? And that was extremely embarrassing for me, especially.
Okay, true enough. I mean, that's the worst part I find about doing covers, is where other people know the song. Right. If it's your own, something like that, it's not so bad. How about you guys? Any embarrassing moments or bad shows that you care to?
I don't really have any myself. I mean, obviously, other than the occasional muck-up. But I think what sticks out in my mind, I was going to get him to tell you this one, is we were at Michael's, it was probably about a year ago. And if I remember correctly, we were doing, it was probably Hallowed Be Thy Name. It was right at the end of the show.
It was Real Steel.
Where Eagles Dare. There you go. Yeah, which we've done live. And he gets his cable caught on something. It was like a cymbal or something that was over off the side of the stage.
The cymbal fell over, and
Yes.
the edge of the
Yes.
cymbal cut my guitar cable.
During the middle of the song.
And I didn't know what happened.
Sliced it right in half.
I couldn't figure out what was wrong. Nothing was coming out, and someone
Yeah.
from the crowd was pointing.
Looking for this.
A great argument to go wireless.
Yeah, exactly.
I was that night. Yeah. So
Not really embarrassing, but pretty cool.
And that's part of the restrictions of doing the Maiden stuff is that, again, you have that certain level of expectation, and I think Derek does an absolute fabulous, amazing job. He rocks the stage, gets everybody involved, just as Bruce Dickinson would do himself. And, he does the best with the confined space that he has, right? And sometimes he knocks over my drum set right into me. Hits me in the face and everything. It's awesome.
Unplugs my patch board, yeah.
Severs cables.
Sometimes they even fall over the drum kit, knock the ladder over with a smoke machine that lands on your head.
Yes, that too. That was awesome. Remember, that was a good moment.
Well, you guys are loaded with this stuff.
There was a time I ran off the stage in the attic and almost impaled Buddy with the flag.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, it's yeah. I've got 10 years worth of embarrassment. Trust me. Yeah.
That's a loaded question
Yeah.
for sure with this band.
Write a book.
Right on. Okay. Have another one or? No. Okay.
You know more than you should already.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Can we tell them about the Hells Angels party?
No, we have to kill him for that one.
Oh yeah.
Now he's like, damn, you gotta tell us what happened.
I hate when bands leave me hanging like that, but. All right.
We'll leave that for the next interview.
Okay, cool. Couple silly questions. If you could be part of a circus act, what would you do? What would you be?
Wow. I'd be a clown. Why not? I'm used.
A bearded lady or something.
No, I'm used to getting drunk, rolling around, and looking stupid. So, clown sort of
We
fits
all
me.
be the clowns for the amount of space that we pack all this gear into these little cars, and you see everybody piling out of this car with all this stuff, and we look like a bunch of clowns coming out of a circus.
I think most bands can do that, yeah.
I want to be shut out of cannon.
That'd be pretty cool. Shoot him out of a cannon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get like a helmet on.
I'll shoot you out of a cannon.
There you go. I'll be the guy throwing the tigers through the flaming hoops. How about that?
I always thought that the hoops were there and the tigers went through themselves, but if you want to throw them, then
Yeah, well, fair. Yeah.
that'd be a different trick altogether.
Worked for Siegfried and Roy, well, actually, no, it didn't, did it?
No, it kind of backfired on him. How about you guys? Clown's already taken, but if you...
I would have to say, if I was going to be anybody in a circus act, I would be Kirk Coven.
Yeah.
'Cause I think-
we already said clown.
Because I think I could entertain a lot of people just being me.
I'll be the tiger that Sean throws through the hoops.
Right on. Playing the bass like Steve Harris. All right. Final one. Desert Island. 2 things you can have on there. Can't be a person.
Wow. On a desert island.
Does this have to be funny or serious?
I don't care. So far, this has been like a, kind of all over the place. So whatever comes to mind, be yourself.
So it can't be another woman or
Nah, woman's too easy.
There you go.
desert island.
Well, guitar would have to be one of them for sure for me, and probably bring my dog along just for company. If I can't bring a person, I'll bring him.
Water would be nice.
You're surrounded
It's an
by-
island.
Tons of water.
Salt water.
Water everywhere, nor any drop to drink. Going back to Iron Maiden there.
You can make it evaporate. Yeah, distill it.
Water filtration system.
I don't know, probably a case of beer and a pack of smokes. That's all I'm gonna need.
How about you?
I don't know, a computer with internet access. Like,
Super wireless.
Yeah, forget the dog. I need my iPhone.
PS4 probably and a TV.
Any particular games?
Battlefield.
Probably Black Ops or Ghosts. Call of Duty Ghosts. Probably the best.
How you gonna plug it in?
I don't care. Plug it in your arse. Go fucking light it
We're
up.
not doing that again.
Ooh, more stories come out. How about you, Jay?
Bass and beer, I guess.
Basin beer. Or a basin of beer. Right on. So hopefully the album this year, maybe early next year, something like that. Probably, realistically, yeah. I love when bands say, "Yeah, we're working on an album right now. It'll be out in 2 months." 2 months, and I'm like, "No, it's not. Get real."
One of my favorite lines from any movie is Money Pit with Tom Hanks. 2 weeks. If you've ever seen the movie, you would know that 2 weeks means absolutely nothing.
Yeah. Right on. Okay, so 2 minutes to Maiden, Severed Rain, Mettalworx. Right on.